Hello everybody, it's Sarah Black Spiker here, co-creator of Elite Mystic Agency. Today I want to talk to you about some of the measurable impact that Diane and I believe we can help create with our work here at Elite Mystic Agency. Before we get there, I want to take a moment to introduce myself to those of you who are new in our community, and to kind of give you an overview of the journey that brought us to where we are today and why do we do what we do. So as you might be noticing, my accent is European accent. I'm born and raised in Slovenia, and basketball became my ticket into the world. In 2004, I arrived to New York City to play Division I basketball, and I'm still here because my heart got stuck. So now my husband and I are raising two daughters in the Lower Hudson Valley, from where I run a business. For the past 10 years, my business has seen a few iterations. I first started out as a virtual assistant when I lost my job the same week I found out I was pregnant with our first daughter. And I wanted to create a business that would give me freedom and flexibility in some way to travel. You know, it's been an amazing business, but I did recognize a quirk of mine that I was not quite good at taking orders and copy pasting, that my wheelhouse was strategizing, big picture, coaching and consulting. That's what my clients and I ultimately started to talk about. So it was really clear to me that some changes would need to happen. And time for those changes came when my second daughter was born. So I decided to close down the agency and really focus on coaching and consulting. Along the way, I overcame postpartum depression and severe burnout that got me to the ER twice or three times. It prompted me to really change my lifestyle and to really dive into the mindset, because here was the thing. All the knowledge and tools and attitudes that have gotten me to where I was at 30, having more than I could ever possibly ask for, were now the ones who nearly killed me. So I had to unlearn, I had to reimagine, I had to release a huge amount of who I am, how I perceive myself to be, break through patterns and shatter glass ceilings that many of them were actually self-imposed. Not to mention, the epigenetics and cultural barriers. So that brought me along the way to really start to notice the new type of clients who kept coming to me. Those are the ones who, just like me, on the outside, they had everything that could ever possibly ask for. The ones that the world admired and aspired to be like. The ones who, when they looked around, was like, okay, awesome. Now what? What's next? Many of them even at the brink of burnout on their own, because the way they had built success was unsustainable. It felt almost like balancing a tripod on two legs, just waiting to be toppled over. So the work that we began to do was increasingly deeper and deeper and deeper, and much more holistic than simply strategizing, and also much more rewarding. So then with 2020, when the world went into hibernation, so to speak, when millions around the world started to wake up to a realization that there's just so much more than life has to offer, when millions realized just how fragile and unpredictable life can be, and millions turned to elite leaders and athletes as a source of inspiration and entertainment in a whole different way, with a whole different appreciation, it became really clear that with the dawn of a new era, Aquarian era, that has been emerging for past few decades actually, but we finally really are entering into it this year. The way of doing things no longer applies. The old Piscean structures, the old Piscean rules, they no longer apply. And the new emerging leaders, not only will they be dealing with higher frequencies on this planet, but also stewarding society in a whole different direction. And here's where the measurable impact of our services really comes in. So the work that Diane and I are doing has been inspired by us, first and foremost, experiencing many of the things that leaders, elite athletes are experiencing. Having firsthand experiences with those who went through the journey, and we noticed that the support that they got was simply inadequate. In process, many of those individuals have lost everything that they had worked so hard for. We also realized that if we join forces, what we have to offer has not been offered before, and it's not offered anywhere else. So how does that stack up? And what are the measurable impacts of our work as, within Elite Mystic Agency, as private mentor, as biostrategic counsel? Well, there's several layers to that. So let's touch the most immediate one. So as we are supporting and working with and training elite leaders in a way that have never been trained and supported before, what we're actually helping them create, hold, and maneuver is potentially tens of millions of dollars that depend on their ability to be at their peak existence, at their peak performance. And those tens of millions of dollars are not just through immediate contracts with their teams and sponsors, but also are depending on their negotiating powers once their active playing career comes to stop, once they're transitioning, and corporate leaders also. What turn will they take? How are they leading their teams, their companies? Do they have the foresight of what is actually coming that is very different from what it used to be? And we're not here to give you step by step into the future, because no one knows what the future will bring. However, with our support, what we empower our clients to do is to potentially move all those resources so they can give back to the society, so they can build organizations, so they can use their voices and platforms in a very different way, potentially creating jobs, building schools, building libraries, not just in the United States, but around the world, uplifting the humanity across the line. So that is the most immediate impact. In order to be able to do so, of course, there needs to be this mastery of the mind, body, spirit system, which is what we help with, and the strategic alignment and strategic congruency, so that whatever they set out to achieve actually supports their vision, supports their mission and destiny, and is not just put in place because somebody else has said so, which is simply a setup to eventually blow out. We're no longer available for that. We can no longer afford that. So that was the layer number one. Second layer goes a little bit deeper, and it involves epigenetics, and I'm not gonna go into details because I am honestly not an expert on it. But I do understand how it can affect certain parts of our society, women. So here's the thing. Already, as is, we know that women are earning less than their male counterparts, even when they perform better. In addition, the level of stress and disconnect when it comes to women of color also affects women's longevity. And women of color tend to live 7 to 8 years less than white ones. So by supporting the communities, supporting the economies through what I laid out, the first layer, we are not only helping address the problem at the core, but we are also working with individuals and organizations who have the capacity, who have the interest, who have the resources to address that, to fix it. And along the way, we can help spread the awareness and knowledge through our work, through education, training, and programs. And again, this is, an ongoing work. So that was the second layer. And then the third layer pertains to economy at large. And it can be quite a controversial topic, but here it goes. U.S. economy, as we know it, bases on consumerism, and as such relies on the buying power of 99% of its population who does not hold the majority of the wealth. So what does that mean? Consequently, the global trade as well as climate really are going to be impacted. How? It is up to us as a society. But here's where Elite Mystic Agency comes in. Through the first three layers, we now are penetrating even deeper, and we can support individuals, organizations, corporations who are intent on closing that gap and recalibrating the society in such ways that not only empowers those 99%, but it closes the gaps, and that will require drastic measures. And some of those drastic measures, they involved equality, pay equity, affordable, accessible childcare, healthcare, higher education, paid leave for parents, paid vacation time. When we look around at the most successful societies around the world, we know that the US is lagging behind, even though we are supposedly the most powerful and richest country. So that in itself is an undertaking of massive proportions, and individuals, organizations who are going to step up and lead that change will require leaders who are fully supported, so they can hold that, so they can move that, so they can handle that, and not just through advocacy, but also through allocation of resources in a different way. So that is the third layer in which Elite Mystic Agency is impacting the world in very tangible and very measurable ways. So if you have any questions, please let us know. If you are ready to take the leap and to up-level yourself, your life, your business, your organization, your team, your community, let's have a conversation of how that gets to look like. Reach out to us, and we will take you from there. Take care.